When my wife publicly branded me a failure in front of our peers, I responded with a calm smile. She thought she had triumphed, believing she'd humiliated me before our friends and co-workers. But what she didn't know was that I was already aware of her secrets. Her display that evening? It would mark the end of her carefully crafted facade. My name is Mark, and until 6 months ago, I believed I was living a flawless life. I ran a small IT consulting firm, while my wife Rachel handled public relations for prominent clients. We'd been married for 7 years, owned a stunning home, and I thought we shared a strong bond. In hindsight, I should have noticed the subtle fractures forming long before they became unbridgeable. It began with small changes. Her tone grew colder, her affection distant. She started staying late at work, her phone always in hand, and she'd dismiss my questions with a patronizing, "You wouldn't get it." I attributed it to her demanding career. Rachel had always been driven, and I respected her ambition. I convinced myself her late nights and secretive habits were work-related. But one evening, something made my heart sink. She was on the phone, her soft laughter unfamiliar. It wasn't for me. Hadn't been for a long time. When I asked who she was talking to, her reply was curt. "Just work." "Why are you so paranoid, Mark?" Paranoid. That word cut deep. She began using it like a dagger, tossing it into arguments and casual remarks. "You're lucky I'm still here," she'd say with a smirk. "You'd be nothing without me." I started feeling like a stranger in my own marriage, a shadow in a house that no longer felt like mine. The night everything unraveled was meant to be a joyous occasion. Rachel had planned a networking dinner at a fancy restaurant, attended by our shared friends and her colleagues. I was there to play the dutiful husband, a role I'd mastered over the years. Everything seemed normal until the toasts began. Rachel stood, wine glass raised, her smile gleaming. "Thank you all for being here," she said. "This year has been incredible, and I owe it to the support of those around me." Then she turned to me, her expression sharp. "And my husband, Mark. Well, he does what he can." The room erupted in laughter. My face burned as she went on. "It's tough being married to someone who doesn't grasp ambition, but every queen needs her fool, doesn't she?" The laughter intensified, and I felt every gaze fixed on me. I wanted to vanish. But as the shame surged through me, I remembered the folder tucked away in my home office. It contained screenshots, emails, and photos that revealed the truth about Rachel's late nights. She wasn't working. She was meeting her lover, a rich client named Derek. I clutched my glass, forcing a smile as she sat down, her face smug with victory. She thought she'd crushed me, but she had underestimated me. She was the one living a lie. On the drive home, Rachel chattered about how well the evening had gone. I stayed quiet, my mind racing with plans. I had been waiting for the perfect moment, and she'd just handed it to me. The next day, I set my plan in motion. I contacted a divorce lawyer to explore my options and protect my interests. Then I discreetly transferred funds from our joint account to a private one, leaving enough to avoid arousing suspicion, but securing enough to safeguard my future. Over the next few weeks, I gathered more proof. I followed Rachel during her supposed late work hours, capturing photos of her and Derek at a hotel. I recorded conversations and saved messages from her laptop. Each piece of evidence strengthened the case I was building against her. But I wasn't just planning to leave, I was preparing her downfall. The first surprise came when I uncovered that Derek wasn't just her lover. He was her partner in crime, helping her siphon funds from her company's accounts. They were embezzling money, using her role as a shield. My initial aim was retribution, but now I held something far greater: power. One night, as Rachel lounged in the living room, engrossed in her phone, I casually asked, "How's Derek doing?" Her head whipped up, eyes narrowing. "What do you mean?" she snapped. I shrugged. "Just curious about your work thing." Her face paled, and for the first time in months, she looked genuinely scared. The night I enacted my revenge was meticulously planned. Rachel had organized another event, this time to celebrate a major promotion she'd landed. Derek was there, slinking in the shadows as usual. As Rachel stood at the podium, soaking in the applause, I stepped forward. "Before we proceed," I said, my voice firm and clear, "I have something to share." Rachel's smile wavered. I held up a stack of documents. "This is proof of my wife's affair and her role in embezzlement." The room gasped as I revealed everything: the photos, the emails, the financial records. Derek tried to slip away, but security blocked his exit. I had already alerted the authorities, who were waiting outside to take him into custody. Rachel's carefully built world collapsed before the very people she'd worked to impress. Her friends, colleagues, and family saw her true colors. As she stammered to defend herself, I delivered the final strike. "You called me a failure, Rachel, but I was the only one who ever believed in you. Now, everyone sees who you really are." In the weeks that followed, Rachel's life unraveled. She lost her job, her reputation, and Derek. Her company pressed charges, and she faced legal consequences. I finalized our divorce, walking away with everything I needed to start over. For the first time in years, I felt liberated, free from her manipulation, her deceit, and her cruelty. I focused on myself, rebuilding my business, reconnecting with friends, and rediscovering joy in the little things. When people ask if I regret my actions, my answer is always the same: no. Rachel thought she could degrade me, tear me down, and walk away unscathed. But I wasn't the failure she painted me as. I was the man who stood tall, fought back, and emerged victorious. That's the true story. If you believe this betrayal deserved what came next, hit like and subscribe for more compelling tales of retribution and justice.